GM, it's 14th of Feb. Happy Valentine's Day. And this is your Solana Daily Debrief long form edition. All right, first up, Teddies CEO is stepping down. This is within basically a week or just about maybe 11 days or something like that from minting. Now, Slorg asks, is there anything we can learn from this? Or are we just going to repeat this over and over and again until the people most vested in crypto are scammers and grifters? Obviously, it's a little bit of a take that's a little bit extreme. But to be honest, we'll go through it quickly. But the letter that was put into Discord was just so crazy. The amount of shade that's been thrown to Fred, the CEO of Teddies, is insane. But in my opinion, it was deserving. Like he deserves this kind of shade. Now, Carlos is a founder in the space, and he's got a couple of takes. One thing is he derugged Jellyco NFT, and then was building and is building Gamble's Casino. I minted Gamble's Casino. I think it's on the Polygon network. I have no idea how it's going. And being a founder in the space isn't for everyone. It's literally the hardest job you could ever imagine. Oh, I don't know if it's the hardest job you could ever imagine, but I'm sure it's definitely a challenging thing. Sleepless nights, tons of headaches, disappointment, and sometimes even thoughts of, why do I care about this? A relentless hate from engagement farmers. But one thing is, they're just people on the internet, right? So I'm not trying to downplay this. If you're going to be a founder, you will get the hate. I hate it when people put in silly comments on my YouTube, but it's just the nature of it. You get resilient to this sort of stuff. It just takes a little bit of time to kind of build those calluses. Anyway, if you're going to have any sort of success, all this stuff here, all this crap will be inevitable. And this is basically the letter, or at least one of the pages from the letter. Now, what's actually crazy about Teddies is they didn't have a Discord early on. And I said this in videos, and I didn't have any pre-sale. I had the opportunity. I skipped the pre-sale, forgot about it, to be honest. And then they were gone. And then I got one whitelist and I minted it, and I still have it. And people were bullish on it, and I couldn't really understand why, because they have a few people there. One of them I recognize as Wangman, and he's experienced in this kind of field. And I'm unsure why, it tarnishes your reputation if you go and promote something that ends up to be really, really rubbish. So I'm unsure really what happens to Wangman's, kind of reputation, as well as the artists and all sorts of things. And now we'll go over a couple of things. We'll keep it fair. If you're going to launch a project yourself and you're just trying to extract value and not give back, and if you don't have a clear plan on how you can give back value, then I wouldn't even bother. That should not be minted. People will mint, but it's normally because there's a rotation of profits. So people come in, mint, or buy at pre-sale, take a risk, and they'll just sell, and they'll just make, 50% or 100%. And that's kind of how they cycle. This is how people in more tight-knit alpha groups profit. And they may love only a very small band of NFTs, and that's just how it happens. With Teddies, they had no Discord. They had a link to a website which just linked back to Twitter. It was so vague, and I couldn't understand. I really couldn't understand. I definitely wouldn't have been sweeping any floors. Anyway, so in Discord, they put out this crazy post. Basically the first post was an announcement that he's stepping down as CEO. And in my opinion, they should just refund everyone that minted. That would be my opinion. Less the fees or whatever. Because the thing about these sort of projects is they're built on IP, the art, but that only gets you 0 to 0.2. To get to 100, which is a huge amount further, you need more than just some good art. You need a community that rallies behind you. And who's going to rally behind these guys? It's just it's silly. Let's have a look at this. This is the wallet containing Fred's PFP and 230 grand of stables, which has paid out multiple entities 800 SOL already. Well, we're not going to go and do on-chain sleuth activities because I don't have time to do so. But I'm more just kind of putting this on your radar. If you want to go and buy one now at a low price, it'd be quite cheap, and hope that they do well in kind of moving the company to someone else. Go for it. I wouldn't. I still have mine. I'm down, and I'm okay with that. I'll just leave it there. And if something happens, something happens. But as for this guy, if someone's gone through and they've found all these different things, which I'm not going to be able to find very quickly, but all these different posts where he says things like, I plan on working on Teddies for the next 5 to 10 years. And, and for some reason that tends to mean a year is one day. But that's enough about this. It's all crazy. Oh, even funnier, yeah. They tagged the wrong, I've made Twitter mistakes, but they tagged the wrong founder. Look, all I'll say is use this as a lesson to try and detect the next upcoming rug. And if you see something like this and you think, oh my God, that's amazing. How amazing really is it? I don't think it's very amazing. So I feel sorry for this legend here that probably spent $15,000 or more and is now left with nothing. Anyway, that's Teddies. We'll move on from there. So the DePin narrative is underway. Now, this is a good little graphic. Nosana, I missed Nosana. This was Nos, and it's gone crazy. I haven't looked into it any further. People keep on asking for it. I've DM'd someone that's part of Nosana, and they haven't replied. So I'm not going to go and do a huge amount of research when I can't necessarily get quick information from something. It's just, I don't have time for that. So if I'm DMing people, normally they will reply because I'm covering their content. But nonetheless, with Nosana, if you've got some of it, fantastic. I have a friend that has a decent bag and he's just keeping that bag. At least he might be taking some profits, but he thinks it could go much further, but I have no information on that. The Render network, I'm very excited that Render is on Solana, of course. I have none of the token. I think just FTX has my tokens. And basically, this is all about using your GPU in a network so that you can generate images and AI and stuff like that for other people that actually need those services. This is a hard thing to use. Like, it's not a user-friendly system. And I think there's under 1,500 GPUs kind of contributing to the network. So that's completely fine. But my point there is it will probably go much further, but it needs to get easier. So once again, like if there are good tutorials on how to contribute your bandwidth to that network, fantastic. I don't know about Synthesis 1. In fact, I don't know about all of these. So these ones you can certainly look into. Grass, I do have a Grass referral link, and I do use Grass. This is really cool. When it comes to storage, not terribly bullish on Shadow Drive. I've nothing bad to say about them. Just the tokenomics were set up to be a very fair system, but it now means that in this cycle, there's a lot of sell pressure potentially. Basically, 50% of the tokenomics went to NFTs, and they're all now vested if they were staked, or I think they were just vested anyway. So there's now a massive amount of supply that can be sold, and I'm sure there will be a couple of larger players that have a huge number of these NFTs, and then they can just pump it down. Having said that, I was wrong about NOS. I could be wrong about this. My suggestion would be not financial advices, and I do have some shadow tokens. If it goes up, then maybe just take some profits. Don't get too greedy. Ultimately, I would love it to be really, really working really well, and it wouldn't just be, focusing on the token. Don't know about this. With services, Teleport is a Uber competitor. Haven't used it. Don't know about Pronto. And then there's a host of other things that we won't go through right now. But the reality is DePin, it's doing well on Solana, and it is part of this new narrative, I feel. And DePin is decentralized infrastructure. If you're a project or team or company, maybe look into Squads protocol. This is a wallet which allows you to have multi-signers, so you don't have to use a ledger all the time, but 3 or 4 people can say yes to that transaction. And they've now integrated with Streamflow, which is great. And I do think this is a fantastic product. Obviously for your everyday user, Phantom, but even Squads can be used sometimes for your everyday user. And we might cover that in a few weeks when I've got more time in a tutorial. The WEN Foundation, they've been heads down and building this cute cat into something truly special. Have no idea how much they've been shipping in terms of whatever they've been shipping. But basically, as a reminder, the WEN coin, this came out as an NFT. It was an NFT, and then it was a new standard of NFTs, and then it was split into tokens. So this is an entire new NFT standard. They onboarded the first 10K NFT collection. So we can see 18 days after WEN was born, we've built an entire NFT standard and onboarded the first 10K NFT collection. And that is with Asset Dash. Now I've got tutorials on Asset Dash. Very, very excited for Asset Dash. They have an NFT called Avanta, and that allows you to get more points, more coins, which you can use to try and get whitelists and things like that. More so than that, it's just a fantastic way to check your portfolio. So it looks as though there's a new PFP coming on February 10th. It's already come, and exactly how this gets to us, I'm not sure. I do know that it says you'll be able to burn your Avanta NFT to receive an element, but I need to work out a little bit more with regards to how this all works. So I'll cover that maybe a later day. But for now, we can see the max supply of elements will be 10,000 once 100% of Avanta NFTs are burned for elements. Keep an eye on our timeline for updates. Asset Dash intern, if you're watching this, please ping me details. I'll cover them in the next video. So this next one is very, very bullish. So you know that Solana Mobile 2 came out. A lot of sales have been generated, over 100,000 sales at 450 USDC. 20 million sales with Solana USDC, paid 0 fees. Credit card sales cost over 600,000 in fees on about the same volume. That's 3 full-time engineers. That's crazy. So when you can, use USDC for whatever project as opposed to a credit card. And secondly, there's clearly a need for Solana USDC in settling these sort of payments. So that's really, really exciting. BONK has given a grant of 450 million BONK to the Barrows. Now, I'm very, very bullish on the Barrows, as I'm sure you know. And one of the reasons on why this has happened is because they've just been doing so many things to put back stuff into the ecosystem. As an example, a charity raise in BONK for Children's Hospital, and at the same time, the Treasury always held BONK. They also bought some keys way back in August 2023 as well. Now, on the subject of BONK, just remember, you can go to bonkdragon.com and you can start staking your BONK. Go from here to build the dragon, and then you can lock in your bank for a period of whatever you like. I've locked up mine mostly for 6 months, and then you can get this nice little rewards multiplier. The Degenerate Trash Pandas, this collection here, this was actually created by the artist Monolith, the same artist behind the apes, the drop bears, and Robert, which just sits on the top of a drop bear. But it was actually a different project, a different company. So I'm not sure if the Twitter is still live or if it's kind of been closed down. I think it's been closed down. So this is Pit the Panda. Him and Viper worked with Monolith back in 2021 to create this project. I won't give you all the history. It's very, very easy to find. But basically, Pit the Panda and Viper, their actual identities are Jordan and Bartosz, B&J Studios, and they were initially with Solana Labs, and now they're devs, and then they went off and they're building their own stuff. So they're building at the moment Cube Exchange, which is like kind of like a backpack exchange kind of equivalent, like a cross between a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange. Okay, so now the actual main Twitter, I think, has been closed down. And just a little bit of history, because there are some people that have quite a few of these pandas, and they're upset that the brand is now being absorbed into the Degeneriverse completely, with the Degenerate Ape Academy looking after this collection. So I won't go into any of that. I don't know about it. But what I will say is that the Degenerate Trash Pandas, these initially minted, I can't really probably find any information. The Degenerate Trash Pandas minted in 2021 in a campaign called Bid Small. There were 20,000 tokens. 10,000 were dropped to anyone that owned a Degenerate Ape, and the other 10,000, they were up for grabs by people basically putting in a bid between 0.1 Sol and 10 Sol. The median price, like the most number of bids, they're actually going to get that token, and then they could mint this particular Degenerate Trash Panda. Now, initially, the mint was set from 1 to 5 Sol, and I'll be honest, I was trying to get in chats with Pit to say, as soon as he changed it to 0.1 to 10 Sol, I was trying to get in chats and say, hey, this could backfire. I didn't think it would go to 0.1 or anything like that, but for whatever reason, he went with whatever he went. And, we all change and we all learn over the space. And I'm getting into too much of the deep history. But long story short, Degens flocked in and they minted at 0.1 Sol when Sol was like $200. So the mint funds they generated were actually very, very small and never enough to really ship all of the dreams and visions, the game and stuff that they had in mind. Now, a normal collection that had a situation like this, they would have rugged a long time ago. But they didn't rug, and they poured in their own money to try and keep things alive. But at the same time, to be honest, there's a million things, there's a million jobs in the world, and you can't be good at everything. And Pit is a good dev, and then his community aspect, just in my opinion, I mean, it's very, very obvious, but you can't kind of ask your community what you want and then do something different. And so the things that were shipped never actually really took off. And this is true of many things in crypto. You're never going to get everything right. Long story short, at this stage, the IP is still really, really well known and famous. And when it's added back into the Degeneriverse fully, then it has a chance of success. And that's really what anyone in NFTs wants, right? Their project to have success. So there are some whales, and I can't find them. I think Ryan is one of them. And they're just selling the Degenerate Trash Panda. So I have no idea what the floor price will do. Some of them have a couple of hundred of these particular pandas. So do expect there's a little bit of a sell wall. So if the price dips down, you may want to grab one, but at the same time, maybe it's not going to work out. I'm not sure. But just watch the space. The branding, all these assets in one place now, it gives it a lot better freedom with what to do. And they also can mine 1 opal as well. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, that's just an update. Just keep in mind what Nikki says as the CEO of DAA. Haven't commented on this much today. I've been busy pinging all our partners to let them know we can use DTP now. These characters are incredible and add so much to Degen lore. Comics, TV, animations, figures, and more. And that's really the value play there. The IP is now under one company, and it's in our best interest to grow everything together. Onto Parcl, there are new markets coming along, Atlanta and Washington, D.C. Also, someone asked me why the Parcl NFTs were pumping, and let's just have a quick look at them. We'll go have a look at them on Tensor. I use one of these NFTs in my tutorial, which will be out later today. This is on Pricelock, but let's have a look at Pricelock here. I'll cover this. It's quite a complex but really good product, so I've covered it very, very well. So we can see here, Parcl NFTs, the price has shot up quite sizably, and people asking why. Well, one thing is they get more points from Parcl. These being worth, about $1,900 at the moment. Makes me wonder, is it worth holding on to the NFT, or is it worth just putting maybe half of that in USDC into liquidity providing to get more points? Personally, I think mine has sold because I used it in this tutorial. So I'm probably just going to put USDC in. And I only had one Parcl NFT. However, look into Parcl's Discord because you do need an NFT to actually gain access to some channels, and maybe in those channels there's more alpha. Now onto Solana Labs. If you're attending ETH Denver 2024, explore the opportunity to launch on Solana. So they're putting a lot of resources into basically making it so any developer can come, build a game, and get it onto Solana. So this is really, really cool. This is past my kind of level of understanding, given that I'm not a dev, but gaming is something really, really needed on the blockchain, and really good games are hard to come by, but more and more people are shipping. So if we can have someone work on the game, and then the back-end integration in a crypto environment is kind of open sourced or plug and play or really easy, then that's a winner. On the subject of Ethereum, someone spent 42 ETH on a transaction fee, and just no idea why. Sometimes, not in this case, but sometimes an arbitrage bot could send it as a tip to the miner to get their transaction in really fast. This is, same with on Solana with Jito and MEV rewards, but this just seems crazy. And the crazy thing, I'm not going to kind of pull everything up, but a lot of people going, oh, this is bull run vibes. This is bull run vibes. This is bullish. This is not bullish. To either fat finger or to just show off that you've got a lot of money and to go and spend $113,000 on a transaction fee. This is not bullish. This is just stupidity. And if your chain allows that sort of thing without like a decent prompt or something like that, then it's kind of crazy, Anyway, next, Drip and WorldCoin partnership is coming shortly. So the WorldCoin is basically this orb thing that scans your iris, and the goal is to have everyone get some sort of identity which is linked on some sort of blockchain. This is created by Sam Altman, the same guy behind ChatGPT, or at least he's one of the people that have created this. And it's a little bit spooky. It's been talked about for quite some years. I don't have any updated information on it. I can see there's definitely pros and cons, but one of the cool things is it would be great to have Drip, this ability to drop compressed NFTs to billions of people. So whatever this partnership is, I'm sure it's going to have a lot of merits to it. So follow them. Here's some news as well. Phantom hit 3.4 million monthly active users in Jan, up 220% from 1 million a year ago. This is really, really crazy. And do remember, I have the best tutorials on Phantom, bar nothing. So if anyone's getting into the space, just go to my YouTube, just go Seb Montgomery Phantom, and just watch those tutorials and just give them those tutorials just so they know how to set up a wallet correctly, and they have a full walkthrough on all the features in it. Next up, Cab. So Cab is the co-founder and creative director of Claynos, and he says so himself that I know sometimes our professionalism may come off a little boomer to crypto Twitter, and there's a thirst for us to copycat others. That's not us. When the dust settles, who do you think will actually rip right through the barriers, broaden perspectives, and sit at the big table? With the wind at our backs, it's just going to be silly. We're going to change an industry. I really believe that. So, if you want to take a bet on these guys, then you can do it a couple ways. You can get an NFT, or you can also go and use Pricelock and long the NFT. Maybe that's a profitable experience for you. And remember, later today, my price lock video will come out so you can learn how to do that. Now, if you have a Clayno, it's time to armor up. So check this out, check out this thread, and go and armor up if you're keen to do so. MetaMask allows you to snap on Solflare wallet. So they have 281,000 MetaMask users using Solana via this snap. And also dBridge Finance, they're doing very, very well. $18 million worth of bridged liquidity coming from Ethereum into Solana. Backpack Exchange has shipped a few things. One is USD Wise for VIPs. Now, the other day there was an image, maybe I can just find it for you, and there was a United States flag on the backpack. So people were speculating that potentially they would be able to actually go and use it if they're in the US. Putting out a lot of content. Here we are. So that was kind of the speculation there. But at the moment, no. There's still a lot of places where you can't, and that's just due to legal regulations. Yesterday, I mentioned Sharkify and their farming process. Now, I'm not really into lending against NFTs, and if I were to be, it would probably be with another protocol. I'll cover that another day. But right now, let's talk about Sharkify, okay? So if this is your goal, then just keep in mind that the farming season will be way shorter than most people think. It's not going to last for several months. And from there, I think that's enough of a spur to kind of get you into there. So if you're using Citrus or another platform, you may want to go and swap over to Sharky to get some points and maybe a future airdrop. Tomorrow, Marms are minting. So pre-sales will be distributed prior to the launch, and this is all the information we have. However, they've got a Discord and they've got a website. So this is a lot better than what we've got with, say, Teddies. I do have some pre-sales allocated. I don't think I have any whitelist spots, but I'll go and check some of my wallets. And finally, go and check out my video here. This is done really well, if I may say so myself. And later today will be the full section will be coming out. This is basically my meme video on Tensor and the price lock. I think it's pretty genius. So check it out. Give me a like. Tell me what you think in the comments. That's all for today. Remember, my price lock video on Tensor comes out later. Stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next video.